Welcome to my channel Valuable Rare Coins because, as you know, old is gold. Some of the rarest coins worth big money could be hiding in your hands right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch till the end. Let's dive in. First, we are diving into a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but it hides a story that could make collectors' hearts race. The 2016 Harper's Ferry State Quarter might be in your pocket right now, or sitting in a jar at home, and yet, some of these coins are quietly selling for much more than their face value. What makes this little quarter so special? Stick around, because we're going to explore hidden features, rare errors, and even auction records that will surprise you. At first glance, the 2016 Harper's Ferry Quarter seems simple. On the front, you have the familiar profile of George Washington, looking presidential as always. But flip it over, and that's where the story unfolds. The reverse celebrates Harper's Ferry in West Virginia, showing a powerful image of the Harper's Ferry National Historical Park and John Brown's iconic rifle. The detail is incredible: the park buildings, the rugged landscape, and the tiny inscriptions that commemorate this pivotal moment in American history. For visuals, a slow pan across the reverse, zooming in on the rifle and landscape, really brings it to life. Now, what makes this coin more than just pocket change? A few rare errors can appear on these quarters, like double dies, where parts of the design appear slightly doubled if you look close, or small minting misalignments that shift the image just enough to catch a collector's eye. These are not flaws to be ashamed of, they're mistakes that turn an ordinary quarter into a collectible gem. Some coins even have slight die cracks or extra metal spots, almost like fingerprints of history frozen in copper and nickel. Here's a bit of history that makes this coin even more compelling. Harper's Ferry is not just a place on a map, it's where John Brown's raid in 1859 became a pivotal moment leading to the Civil War. The quarter isn't just money, it's a miniature tribute to courage and a turning point in American history. That makes it fascinating not only to coin collectors, but also to history enthusiasts. Think about it. You're holding a coin that tells a story from over 150 years ago, and that story is etched in metal you can carry in your hand. Collectors also pay attention to condition. A crisp, uncirculated 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter, bright and shiny with every detail perfectly visible, can sell for a few dollars above face value, even without errors. But add a rare die error or unusual mint mark, and the value climbs quickly. Some examples have sold for $20, $50, even $100 at auction, depending on rarity and condition. So, a coin that might seem ordinary in your change could be quietly worth a small fortune. Here's a fun tip. When examining your quarters, look closely at the inscriptions and the rifle in John Brown's image. Tiny doubling, misaligned text, or unexpected lines on the design could indicate a collectible error. You might be surprised what a careful eye can spot. Take a moment and check your pockets. Maybe your own collection has a hidden treasure. Do you own this coin? Have you ever spotted a subtle error that turned a quarter into a prize? Drop a comment below and share your story. I'd love to hear about your finds. Even beyond errors, the 2016 Harper's Ferry Quarter is fascinating because it's part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series. Each coin celebrates a national park or landmark, turning ordinary coins into a traveling tour of the country. Collectors love completing the series, and Harper's Ferry is one of the standout designs, combining historical significance with detailed artistry. A slow pan across a collector's full set of quarters would make an engaging visual here. So what's the takeaway? The 2016 Harper's Ferry Quarter isn't just a nickel shy of 25 cents. It's a piece of history, a collector's item, and in some cases, a surprising little investment. A standard coin might sell for a few dollars, but rare versions with errors or perfect uncirculated condition can fetch tens of dollars or more. Next time you handle this coin, you might see it as a small time capsule rather than just change. Second rare coin. We are looking at a coin that seems small and ordinary at first glance, but hidden in its design is a story that could make any collector sit up and take notice. The 2017 Ozark National Scenic Riverways Quarter isn't just a quarter, it's a miniature window into one of America's most beautiful natural treasures. And some of these coins? Believe it or not, They quietly fetch more than their face value when the right collector spots a rare variation. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this coin deserves more attention than most of the change in your pocket. At first glance, it's a typical US quarter, with George Washington's profile on the front. That familiar design hasn't changed in decades, but it's what's on the reverse that really makes this coin shine. The Ozark Riverways quarter celebrates Missouri's stunning Ozark National Scenic Riverways. The reverse shows a tranquil scene of a canoe gliding down a winding river, surrounded by trees and rocky banks. You can almost hear the water flowing and see the sunlight glinting off the river. For visuals, a slow pan over a high-resolution image of the coin, zooming in on the canoe and river, will make this design come alive on camera, but there's more here than just a pretty picture. The Ozark Riverways quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which highlights national parks and landmarks across the U.S. Every quarter in this series is a tribute to a place, a story, a moment in history. The Ozark Riverways were established in 1964 to protect the Current and Jack's Fork rivers, preserving the natural beauty of the Ozarks. That means when you hold this coin, you're holding a piece of American conservation history. It's a way for collectors to connect to nature without ever leaving home. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Some Ozark Riverways quarters have rare errors or unique minting features. For instance, die cracks or double dies can appear in certain spots on the river, trees, or even the canoe itself. These errors are subtle, sometimes only visible under a magnifying glass, but they can make a normal quarter worth significantly more to a collector. Some have sold for $10, $20, even $50 depending on rarity and condition. And while that may not sound like a fortune, for a coin that originally cost 25 cents, it's a pretty impressive return. Collectors also look closely at the coin's condition. A crisp, uncirculated Ozark Riverways quarter, with every detail of the river and canoe sharply visible, is highly sought after. Even without errors, these uncirculated coins often sell for $2 to $5. Add a rare mint error or a perfect proof strike, and you've got something that could fetch $20 or more at auction. So the lesson is simple: always check the coins you get from change. That little quarter could be hiding a gem. Here's a fun historical twist. The Current and Jack's Fork rivers, depicted on this coin, have been vital for Missouri's ecosystem and history. These rivers are home to trout, bass, and other freshwater species. Canoeists and nature lovers have been navigating them for centuries, long before the quarter ever existed. So in a way, this coin doesn't just celebrate a place, it celebrates a tradition, a way of life, and the importance of preserving natural beauty. Including a small B-roll of the rivers themselves or vintage photos of early canoeists would make a fantastic visual complement here. Do you own this coin? Have you ever noticed a tiny minting error that made an ordinary coin special? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories and maybe even showcase some of the best finds in future videos. These discussions help collectors share knowledge, and who knows, you might learn something that increases the value of your own collection. So what's the takeaway? The 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter is far more than a piece of change. It's a tribute to one of America's most beautiful natural spots, a collector's item with potential value and a piece of history in your pocket. Standard coins might go for a few dollars, but rare uncirculated or error coins can reach $20, $50, or even more at auction. It's proof that paying attention to small details can turn an ordinary quarter into a miniature treasure. Third expensive coin. We are diving into a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but what if I told you this small, shiny quarter holds a story of American art, hidden value, and collectible surprises that could make it worth way more than its face value? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might see your loose change in a completely new light. This is the U.S. Where Farm 2020 State Quarter, part of the America the Beautiful series. On first sight, it shows a serene scene. Two artists painting outdoors in Connecticut's Ware Farm National Historic Site, with trees, a barn, and that classic American countryside feel. But what really makes this coin interesting isn't just the artwork, it's the details that can make collectors sit up and take notice. Today, we're going to explore why some of these quarters are flying off the shelves in auctions, the rare errors that can make them valuable, and how this piece connects to American history and culture. Let's zoom in. On the obverse, you'll see President George Washington, the familiar face we all know from every quarter in circulation. But flip it over and the reverse is where the magic happens. Two painters are carefully captured in mid-stroke, surrounded by tall trees and a rustic farm building. The detail is so fine that if you look closely, you can even see the individual brushstrokes carved into the coin. For visual impact, you might want a slow pan of the coin under good lighting, maybe even a macro shot to show how detailed these artists are. Because this is where collectors get really excited. Why would a coin from 2020 be considered collectible already? First, the mintage numbers for certain 2020 coins are lower than some previous quarters. The Weir Farm coin, being part of a specialized series, wasn't produced in the millions like your everyday Washington quarter. That means even in loose circulation, it's harder to find a coin in pristine condition, which instantly drives collector interest. And here's a twist. Some coins from the series were released with minor minting errors, things like double dies, misaligned edges, or extra lines in the design that are barely visible to the naked eye. These small anomalies can turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's gem. Here's a fun fact to give this coin more depth. Weir Farm in Connecticut was home to Julian Alden Weir, a prominent American Impressionist painter. The National Park Service preserves the farm to this day, letting visitors step into a piece of art history. That connection between the coin and a real cultural landmark adds a story that collectors love. It's not just a quarter, it's a piece of American artistry frozen in metal. Now, let's talk errors and rare finds, because this is where the coin can really surprise you. Some 2020 Weir Farm quarters were spotted with slight doubling on the United States of America text or subtle die cracks near the edges. These imperfections aren't flaws in the usual sense, they're the quirks that make coins collectible. Imagine finding one of these in your change, crisp and shiny, and realizing it could fetch more than its face value in a collector's market. That's exactly the kind of cliffhanger that keeps collectors checking every quarter roll they get. For visuals, close-ups of the artists on the reverse, a comparison shot showing a normal coin versus one with a minor die error, and a sweeping pan of the farm scene would make this part pop on camera. Layer in a slow rotation of the coin to highlight the intricate engraving and give viewers a sense of scale. Now, what about market value? A standard Weir Farm 2020 quarter in mint condition typically sells for about a few dollars online, which might seem small, but coins with minor mint errors or uncirculated proof coins can reach around $20 to $50 or more, depending on rarity and collector interest. Occasionally, auctioned pieces with perfect strike and exceptional luster fetch even higher prices. So if you happen to have one tucked away in a coin collection, it's worth a closer look. Do you own a Weir Farm quarter? Have you found any interesting errors or unique details in your loose change lately? Which coin would you love to add to your collection? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I love hearing which coins spark excitement for collectors around the world. To wrap it up, the Weir Farm 2020 State Quarter isn't just pocket change. It's a miniature tribute to American art, a connection to a historic farm, and for some, a potential collectible treasure. Its detailed design, ties to a national landmark, and rare mint variations make it a fascinating piece to examine or add to a collection. Especially, we are uncovering a coin that most people walk past in their change without a second thought. But what if I told you the U.S. Cumberland Gap 2016 State Quarter might be hiding secrets that could make it a collector's treasure? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might never look at your spare quarters the same way again. This is the Cumberland Gap Quarter, part of the 2016 America the Beautiful series. At first glance, it seems simple, a beautiful depiction of the Appalachian Mountains and the historic Cumberland Gap. But what makes this coin fascinating isn't just the scenery, it's the story behind it, the hidden details in the design, and the subtle variations that can make some of these quarters unexpectedly valuable. Let's take a closer look. On the obverse, we see President George Washington, the familiar face on every quarter. But flip it over and the reverse design takes you straight into history. You see the rugged mountain pass, a key route through the Appalachians that connected the East to the Western frontier during America's early days. A pioneer figure is included, walking along the path, capturing the sense of adventure and challenge that shaped the nation. For visuals, a slow pan over the coin under strong lighting, with a macro shot of the mountain ridges and the tiny pioneer figure, really brings the design to life. Now, why would a 2016 quarter be collectible already? The Cumberland Gap quarter is part of a specialized series, which means its mintage was lower than regular quarters. That makes pristine examples harder to find in circulation. And here's the kicker. Some coins from this series were struck with minor errors. Think double dies, slight misalignments, or tiny anomalies in the lettering or the mountain engraving. These small quirks aren't defects, they're the kinds of details collectors hunt for. Imagine finding one of these by accident in a roll of quarters. That's the kind of thrill that keeps people opening coin rolls at the bank. Here's a story that adds depth to this coin. Cumberland Gap isn't just a scenic landmark, it was a gateway to the western frontier. Daniel Boone and other pioneers used this pass to explore and settle Kentucky and beyond. So when you hold this coin, you're holding a miniature tribute to the American spirit of exploration. That's what makes it more than just metal. It's history captured in a quarter. Now, let's talk market value. A standard Cumberland Gap quarter in excellent condition is worth a couple of dollars online, which might not sound like much, but quarters with mint errors or in uncirculated proof sets can fetch around $10 to $20, sometimes more depending on the rarity and the market at the time. Occasionally, auctioned coins with exceptional luster or unique minting quirks have gone even higher. So if you happen to find one of these coins in near-perfect condition, it's worth holding onto, or at least checking carefully for those tiny errors. For visuals, you could do a close-up of the pioneer figure, a slow rotation of the coin to show off the depth of the engraving, and maybe even a side-by-side comparison with a normal quarter to highlight any rare variations. Macro shots of the lettering and edges make it easier for viewers to spot potential errors themselves. Do you own a Cumberland Gap quarter? Have you ever found a coin with a strange error that turned out to be worth more than you expected? Drop your story in the comments. I love hearing about people's discoveries and hidden treasures in everyday change. To sum up, the Cumberland Gap 2016 State Quarter is more than a coin you get back from the register. It's a miniature tribute to a historic mountain pass, a symbol of American exploration, and a collectible with potential hidden value for those who know what to look for. Its detailed reverse design, ties to a key historical landmark, and the possibility of mint errors make it a fascinating coin for both new and seasoned collectors. Next coin, we are diving into a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, and yet most people have no idea it hides an incredible story and some surprising collectible potential. I'm talking about the U.S. Salt River Bay 2020 State Quarter. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this coin isn't just a quarter, it's a piece of history, and in certain cases, it could be worth more than you ever imagined. The Salt River Bay Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, released in 2020 to celebrate national parks and historic sites. On first glance, it looks like a typical quarter, but take a closer look at the reverse. Here, you see the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The design is striking. It features the lush Caribbean shoreline, the waves of the bay, and a depiction of Christopher Columbus's ship anchored off the coast. In the foreground, you'll notice images of indigenous artifacts, highlighting the Taino culture that thrived in the region. For visuals, imagine a slow, rotating close-up of the coin, focusing first on the waves, then the ship, and finally the intricate detailing of the artifacts. This coin was designed to capture both natural beauty and historical significance. Now here's the part that makes collectors sit up straight. This quarter has a lower mintage compared to regular quarters, which means fewer were made for general circulation. That's important because it makes pristine or uncirculated coins harder to come by. But what really gets collectors excited are minor minting anomalies. Some Salt River Bay quarters have tiny die scratches, doubling on letters, or slight misalignments, things that might seem like flaws, but actually increase the coin's collectible value. Even a subtle doubling in the 2020 date or the word Liberty can make a coin highly desirable among serious collectors. Let's dive into the story behind it. Salt River Bay isn't just a beautiful location, it's a historical crossroads. The bay is the site where Columbus first anchored in the Caribbean in 1493, marking a critical moment in world history. Later, it became a place of cultural exchange and conflict, shaping the region's unique history. Holding this coin is like holding a piece of that story in your hand, a reminder of how geography, culture, and history intersect in even the smallest objects. For collectors, there's another layer of interest. Coins from the 2020 America the Beautiful series are still relatively new, so high-grade, uncirculated examples are highly sought after. A coin that looks perfect straight out of a roll can sell online for $3 to $5 in standard condition, but rare minting errors or coins with exceptional luster have been known to reach $10 or more at auction. For visuals here, a macro comparison between a normal coin and a slightly doubled die or misaligned coin really illustrates what to look for. A slow pan over the coin under bright light helps viewers spot these tiny details for themselves. Do you own a Salt River Bay quarter? Have you ever stumbled across a coin that turned out to be worth more than face value? Share your stories in the comments. Some of the best collector finds start with just checking your change. To recap, the Salt River Bay 2020 State Quarter is far more than a small piece of metal. It's a celebration of history, nature, and culture, featuring intricate design elements, a connection to a significant historical site, and potential for minor minting variations that make certain coins collectible. Whether you're a casual collector, a history buff, or just someone who enjoys spotting hidden treasures in your pocket change, this quarter has something for everyone. Now, we are holding a coin that millions of people have used without ever noticing its story, its art, and even its surprising collectible value, the U.S. Nevada 2006 State Quarter. At first glance, it's just a quarter, right? But what if I told you that some of these quarters have little hidden details, tiny quirks, and a history behind them that could make them worth more than their face value? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this quarter isn't just change, it's a piece of Nevada's story, and some coins could fetch a pretty penny at auction. The Nevada State Quarter was released in 2006 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. On the reverse, the design immediately grabs your attention. The famous wild Mustangs running free across the desert, with the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains in the background, and the Nevada state motto, Battleborn, prominently displayed. There's so much detail in this quarter: the flowing manes of the horses, the textured desert terrain, even the tiny mountain ridges, so a close-up shot slowly rotating the coin really helps viewers appreciate the craftsmanship. On the obverse, you'll see George Washington, just like on every other state quarter, but it's the reverse that makes Nevada shine. Here's where it gets interesting. Some Nevada quarters from 2006 were minted with minor errors or anomalies, and collectors love these. You might spot double die markings, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled, or slight variations in the metal surface. For example, a subtle die crack can run through the mountains or lettering. These imperfections are actually what can make a coin far more valuable than face value, especially if it's in uncirculated or proof condition. Imagine a B-roll of the coin under bright light, highlighting tiny scratches, doubling, and raised edges. This is what collectors hunt for, but the story doesn't stop at minting quirks. Nevada is nicknamed the Silver State, and that ties into its rich history. The design of the horses and mountains is not just decorative, it reflects the spirit of the Wild West, the pioneers, and the mining boom that put Nevada on the map. Battleborn isn't just words, it references Nevada's admission to the Union during the Civil War, showing pride in a state forged under challenging circumstances. Every detail on this coin has a story, connecting you directly to history every time you hold it. Let's talk numbers. The 2006 Nevada quarter has a relatively high circulation, but finding one in perfect uncirculated condition is rarer. A standard circulated coin might not be worth more than 25 cents, but uncirculated examples or coins with minor mint errors can sell online for $2 to $5. Some rare proofs or coins with significant doubling have even sold for $10 or more. This makes it a perfect coin for beginners looking for value or seasoned collectors hunting for small but meaningful additions to their collection. Visuals comparing a regular quarter versus one with a double die really make this difference clear. Do you have any Nevada quarters from 2006 in your collection? Or maybe a quarter that surprised you when you found out it was rare? Share your stories in the comments. I love hearing about unexpected treasures hiding in people's pockets. To recap, the Nevada 2006 state quarter isn't just pocket change. It's a celebration of history, the wild beauty of the Nevada landscape, and a symbol of the state's resilience. From the powerful Mustangs to the mountains in the distance, every detail tells a story. And if you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated condition or with a minor mint error, it could be more than just a keepsake. It could be a small investment. Last unique coin. We are holding a coin that tells a story most people never notice when they reach for their change, the 2019 war in the Pacific State Quarter. You might think a quarter is just a quarter, but this coin is packed with history, symbolism, and even some surprising details that collectors go wild for. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this coin special, including hidden design features, potential errors, and why some of these quarters have sold for more than their face value. At first glance, this quarter might seem simple. But look closer. On the reverse, it depicts a powerful image of a memorial honoring the men and women who served in the Pacific Theater during World War II. A soldier's silhouette stands in front of a memorial wall, and above, the sun rises over the horizon, symbolizing hope and remembrance. The fine lines of the waves, the figure of the soldier, and the lettering "War in the Pacific" make it clear this is a coin that commemorates sacrifice and courage. A slow panning close-up here really highlights the detail, perfect for viewers to see the artistry. On the obverse, of course, you'll find George Washington, keeping the continuity of every state quarter, but the story lives in the reverse. Now, here's where things get exciting for collectors. Some 2019 War in the Pacific quarters were struck with slight errors or die variations, like doubled lettering, extra lines, or minor minting anomalies. These aren't flaws in the negative sense, they're exactly what make certain coins more collectible. A coin with a subtle double die along the Pacific lettering, for example, could be worth a few dollars more than its standard counterpart, especially in uncirculated condition. Showing a side-by-side comparison of a normal quarter versus one with a mint error really helps viewers spot the differences. The historical context makes this coin even more meaningful. The War in the Pacific was one of the most challenging and pivotal campaigns of World War II. It spanned thousands of miles of ocean, countless islands, and involved incredible bravery. The coin's design captures that vastness and sacrifice in miniature form. Every time you hold this quarter, you're holding a piece of history, a reminder of the people who fought and the lives that shaped our world. You can even see hints of the ocean and the horizon in the background, connecting the design to the real Pacific Islands where the battles occurred. In terms of market value, most circulated coins are still worth just a quarter. But uncirculated coins in pristine condition can sell for a few dollars online. Coins with recognized errors or proof versions can sometimes reach $10 to $20, depending on rarity and condition. It's not a gold mine, but for collectors, this quarter is both meaningful and a smart addition to a collection. Using B-roll showing coins in different grades, circulated, uncirculated, and proof, helps the audience understand how condition affects value. Do you own a 2019 War in the Pacific quarter? Or maybe you found a mint error that surprised you. Share your discoveries in the comments. Some coins hide their secrets until you really take a close look, and these are the moments collectors live for. To recap, the 2019 War in the Pacific State Quarter is more than just pocket change. It's a tribute to courage, a piece of history you can hold, and for some, a collector's treasure with hidden value. From the detailed soldier's silhouette to the waves and rising sun, it's a coin that captures an entire story in a small space. If you've got one in uncirculated condition or spotted a minor minting error, it could be worth more than you think. If this coin blew your mind, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into coins with history and hidden value, and check out our other videos to see what treasures might be hiding in your own change. The war in the Pacific Quarter proves that even a coin we handle every day can carry stories, memories, and value waiting for you to discover.